Hey everybody, David here from Team Ultra Instinct, bringing you a new video here. We actually have some surprising news today. We have the ban and errata list being updated by Bandai, and it is actually a very lengthy list. I wasn't expecting it to be what it was, but it did satisfy a lot of people. It did make some people upset. It was pretty groundbreaking in my opinion. Some big cards got hit. Right away, we see that Gogeta finally has made the ban list after, God, nearly 5 sets now. I say nearly five, I guess 5 main sets. There have been the theme boosters in between, but he's been advocated for one of the cards to be banned for such a long time, and he just finally made it on there. It's for obvious reasons. It's the fact that he's basically a game ender. Just as soon as he plays him, it's devastating. It's hard to recover from him, but yeah, he finally made it to the ban list. I don't know how I feel about it personally, because it's like, yeah, it was devastating to face. It has an answer now, but seeing that Jiren being an answer, it's just like when Cronoa existed while Shugesh was still not banned. Like if you don't see it, you're kind of screwed. And these cards can still run over you. Yeah, it's not as good as it was in its prime, but it's still a good card. It saw ways to fit into decks, like as an alternate win con. Still was devastating. But I think this is a good choice to just keep it banned. It was hard to keep it in here and play around with card designs. It was making him more reluctant to match powers on Vegeta and Goku cards, just and making them like good. It was hard. It was hard. But I think this was good. It limited future game design, so it needed to be done. The only issue I have with this is it's starting to limit Blue's potential for bigger guys because we have very restricted ones right now. I mean, we have Ultra Instinct Sign that's still pretty good, and we have like an SCR and some of the Zamasu stuff. But past that, there's nothing too big that's that great aside from Vegito, but that's also limited to one deck, so it's a little rough. Hopefully Blue gets something that's at least good and higher cost. Android 21, Violent Predator. This is a good ban, honestly. It was fine for its time because mono decks weren't really a thing, but the fact that they're making mono decks a thing, it just needed to be done for the state of the game because it limited the potential for the game for people just wanting to run mono decks because this card just ran over them. It just literally said, yeah, your whole entire field and energy just gone. So it had to happen. As sad as it is, it had to happen, and I think it was a good choice for the game design. It just had to be done. So these two actually surprised me, but I get it. They're basically energy destroyers, so begrudging respect Piccolo and forced ejection Mass Saiyan. We do have stuff to destroy energy still, but these two, I guess they may have been too easy. I don't know why they specifically chose these ones, like because you can abuse them with Shenron, but then again, you can do it with Dende too, but you still have to pay 2 energy, so maybe that's why they kept him around. Forced ejection Mass Saiyan, it's literally he can just sit there turn by turn and do it if he stays on board. So I guess that's why they did that. I'm not entirely sure. Um, I don't have an issue with it, but it's interesting. I wasn't expecting this. Not gonna lie, I was not expecting this. Plan for Destruction. So I didn't think it was as dumb as it was, but the more I started to think about it, the more fair I thought this ban was. Yeah, so basically in Masood X, if you just run the new Zeno super combo to let you return an energy back to your hand and play an energy, you could do Plan for Destruction, do that Zeno super combo, play a card from your hand and your energy and that isn't plan, and then you can do another Plan for Destruction. So essentially you can abuse one Plan for Destruction to get multiple uses out of it. So you can ramp up 2 to 3 energy in just one combo phase. Um, yeah, it's kind of crazy. So I think this was pretty fair. It is what it is. I it, it sucks. It does hurt the Zamasu stuff, but it's fair for this for the state of the game. It just had to be done. It really had to. Turles, the Unstoppable Ghost Warrior. Yeah, that needed to be done. Free plays are broken for the most part. Anything that's free is almost always too good and just gets advocated for a ban or an errata or something like that. Like Sensu Bean, if you're untapping an energy, yeah, you're paying 1 energy to untap 2 energy, and a lot of people hate that, but it's just good. That's how it is. But Turles, on the other hand, was literally a free potential 15k dual attacker, I mean, yes, you had to have black cards in your drop area that fit the criteria of energy cost at 3 to 7 to go to your to the bottom of your deck. But the fact that aggro decks and Veginx is coming out, it had to be done because he is literally just going to be slapped into every deck, and then other decks have to deal with the fact that they're playing this free 10k, potentially 15k, hitting you in the face, and they could be playing two of them in a turn, potentially three of them in a turn, but more than likely one a turn. But still, it's just really hard to face it's a card that had to go, and I think this one it was necessary. It needed to be done. Sucks though because it was our only Turles card. So hopefully we get more Turles cards in the future. Goku Black got an errata. This one was because he paired too well with the Zeno. They did explain it here. It worked too well with the Zeno. That was it. You charge the energy with Zeno, and then you get rid of the energy with Goku Black, and you basically just ramp for the turn. For not for free, but at the cost of a life. And it was essentially too good in people's eyes. I still didn't think it was that good because your hand size really suffers in Goku Black, but I understand why they did it because they didn't want you being able to abuse that, and it was not what its intended purpose was. So basically, they changed it to where you can't place energies in your energy area for the turn when you use his activate main. So fair. He's not good again, so that kind of sucks. But at least the Zeno did help make him slightly relevant, but now he's kind of a little irrelevant again. Supreme Kai of Time, Unison of History. So they finally took away the ability to life gain with Sheila and Lemo. Thank God, because I thought life gain it's just too dumb. I don't think life gain should ever be in this game. I'm always going to be behind that statement. It should never be in the game unless it is a very high cost to it. Because just discarding a card from your hand, well, it's not even discarding a card. It's putting a card from your hand in your life. It's just too good. Like, it has to be high cost. And I I never think it should be added personally, but if they do, it has to be very taxing. So thankfully, they took out the ability to life gain. You have to add a life to your hand in order to place a card from your hand into your life. So they made it balanced. So if you don't add a card from your life to your hand, then you can't add a card from your hand to your life. So that's good. This one I wasn't exactly expecting. Uh, I got to read over it again, but so okay, so they made it so that if he's removed from the battle area by a skill, so it has to be an opponent's skill now rather than your own skill. Kind of surprised me, but I I guess it's fair. They didn't want a one energy 20k. I don't know. I don't know if this one was very necessary, but maybe there was something I missed and people were abusing that fact. But I guess that's fine. It doesn't really hurt me in any way, and I haven't heard anyone really complaining about that one. So I suppose this errata is fine. They maybe intended it for it to be an opponent's skill. I don't know. But these next ones are the big ones. So they finally touched the surge leaders from the expansions. Um, I honestly think this guy's power was cut in half. The fact that they changed it to his activate main, activate battle for surge is if it's your opponent's turn now, or if it's your turn, not your opponent's turn. It was good during your opponent's turn. If it's your turn now, so you can't even gain 10k power for the turn during your opponent's turn anymore, which was a huge boost for this deck. It needed that. That's why it was such a good defensive deck. Yes, it could negate skills, but a lot of people were also using it to gain 10k power for the turn so that they had to keep comboing up to even damage you. And what you would do essentially is you'd keep comboing with apes to get out of it and flood your board, and they wouldn't want to keep comboing cards because they're going to be losing hand advantage. So, yeah, he was hurt pretty bad off this one. And this next one, I wasn't even expecting this one. They made it on this side, so the Unawakened side, instead of drawing a card for his auto when after looking at the top or bottom card of your deck, I mean, you still draw for turn, but you don't get to draw off the auto anymore. And I was not expecting that. That was one of the huge things with this leader is that you still got to gain card advantage while ramping, and as they say here, while ramping and using counter cards and playing high cost cards early. So yes, you still get to look at top and bottom card, or at the top card of your deck and putting it to the top or bottom, so scrying it, as people would call it. But you don't gain that hand advantage as much anymore, and that's what really hurts it in my opinion. It needed that to thrive. Yes, you can look for your pieces still, but now if you see something that you want and it's on top, you don't know if the next card is gonna end up being what you need later. Whatever's on top, that's what you need right then and there, and you draw it for turn, and that's it. You don't get whatever's after that. So yeah, they made them a bit more fair. I think it does suck, but at the same time, maybe it's for the good of the game. Um, yeah, I all these bands like I don't have an issue with them. I'll be honest. I think it's fine what they did. Um, Sucks to see, but they had to do what they did, and I think it'll be either for the good or better for the community. I know there's going to be people that are upset by this, but it is what it is. You can't leave everything super busted in the game. Yes, there's always going to be more cards that pop up. That's an issue, but that's how it is in every card game. There will always be something like that. But yeah, I hope you guys like this little video covering over all of this. I wasn't expecting this list to drop today, and it did, and caught me by surprise. But let me know your thoughts on all of this, and if this bothered you at all, if it didn't, and why. So hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll see you guys in the next video.